Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the HalfTorqued Podcast. My name is Jeremy.
I'm Matt.
And today we're going to be talking about a number of different things.
Got a few things on the list
We do have a few things on the docket, as they say.
Yeah.
I hope today gets really heated for no reason. I hope we just start arguing and yelling at each other and throwing the tables.
That's why I have this.
Okay. What is that?
It's, don't worry about it.
All right. I don't know what he's going to do. We'll see. Stay tuned to find out how he kills me. All right.
Plastic test tube.
What do you want to start with? You have the list today.
I do have the list today, guys.
I have my iPad here, but it's dead.
First thing, I feel like we need to throw up a little disclaimer on the screen that these are all just opinions.
But take them to heart and really just roast us to the core.
Roasting is fine.
That's true.
You know, not necessarily wanting to hear people roast us on our opinions or anything like that, but like, I'd like to hear other people's opinions.
Definitely.
You know, it's kind of why we're doing it, right?
Yep.
Like, we want to see what other people think about the kind of stuff that we're talking about. So, you know, first thing we'll talk about, what should we start with? Which one is going to be, I mean, you know the topic. So what's kind of the easier thing to get us through, get us going?
I think if we talk about different types of cars, it will segue us into the other.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, there's different types of cars out there for sure. Like, how do we say that? Like, I mean, I can sit here and read it off this list, but you know, people get into cars for different reasons, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess that's a good way to talk about it. You know, we're looking at some people want to drag race, some people want to go up on the mountain, some people just want to
do a little bit of both safely.
A little bit of both, yeah. Have a car that's capable of doing both things.
When I think people fall into the my favorite car is a Hellcat for this reason, or my favorite car is a Mustang for this reason, or this. And we talked about this a little bit on the first episode, but you can have a favorite car, but the car is not going to win in every subject. Right? So, like, my favorite car might be a Senna. Are those really fast in a straight line?
I don't think so.
Right, because there's so much aerodynamic that keeps it slower.
They're literally made to go around a track fast.
Right.
I mean, that's exactly what they are built for.
And when you take
their name Senna.
Exactly. When you take a GT3 RS, for instance, that big spoiler is going to keep you from going over 200 miles per hour or whatever, right? So they're made to, when you hit a certain speed, keep you on the ground. And so that is actively pushing you onto the ground, and that's going to keep you from going faster.
Right, yeah. Like, the big wang means drag. So,
so you know, like, you can't really have, although you can have a dream or favorite car, they all mean different things, and they all are for severely different purposes. And there are hybrid versions of those, like, actually the Supra or the GTR are great examples. The Supra can be fast in a straight line, but they handle really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
They do neither perfectly, but they do both severely well.
Yep.
And I think, like, the base GTR is not the fastest in a straight line by any means, right?
No.
And yet those are incredible track cars, but they're also some of the fastest on the drag strip as well.
Yeah, and people complain like, "Oh, it's a big car, it's heavy." Yeah, doesn't seem to matter when it comes to the Nürburgring times because it held the record for quite a while for a production car anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my biggest thing about the GTR is the fact that it's such a good car and everything that I want to do, which, you know, I like driving on curvy roads. That's my favorite thing. Yep. And a GTR is great at it.
And yet you're probably going to smoke 90% of traffic at a red light as well.
Just about, you know, most of the random cars that we see around here for sure, and even some higher end stuff. Like, my car is probably faster than most GT3 RSs in a straight line. And,
absolutely.
You know, I did get told at that Porsche event that I wouldn't be invited back. So,
why don't you tell that story real quick?
So I went to a Porsche event. I actually have a video. You know, we could probably post up a little bit of that on right in here. Right it. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I got invited to an event, which was awesome. I can't remember the name of the airfield, but it was a private airfield. It was like this neighborhood that had an airstrip for people to land their private planes in. It was awesome.
That's
it was
wicked.
Beautiful out there. And they had the Taycan out there and, you know, a bunch of cool guys with their really cool Porsches. Like, Riley was out there. I don't think Riley drove his. I can't remember if he drove his on the track or not, like, or on the runway just to see, because he knew it wouldn't be that fast. And
he's a beautiful air-cooled Porsche. I'll put up a picture as well.
Oh, God, that thing is so pretty.
Yeah, it is.
But, yeah, so we go out there, and we're seeing who can do the highest top speed on that runway, and ended up being me.
At a Porsche event.
At a Porsche event. I was faster than the Turbo S, not by a whole lot or anything. So.
And the Taycan Turbo S, right?
And the Taycan, yep.
Which is, they have a more, like, they have a faster version of that car now, but.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Like,
man, that car is wicked fast in a straight line. So.
Yeah, we were getting to do ride-alongs. That was really
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I think a couple of the Porsche guys, like Leo or somebody, may have actually driven one.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who it was, if it was Rick Hill or who that put it on. It's been a few years, but man, that was so much fun. But yeah, Leo come up and he's like, "Hey man, just so you know, we're not going to invite you back. You were the fastest car out here," and which I find funny, but I've never been invited back. Yeah. So
you put our Porsches to shame is basically what he's saying.
That's fine.
But you get on a track with a GT3 RS and
hop on a mountain road, and I can't keep up with Daniel and his GT3. So it's give and take everywhere. But it seems like there's always going to be somebody a little faster than you, and somebody's a little more experienced than you, and
always bigger fish for sure, especially in the car world.
And I'm fine with that. Like, I feel like once I got to that point where I felt like I didn't have to have the most horsepower or anything like that, that I've been so much happier in the car world because I see all these other cars that are faster than me, and I just don't care. Like, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. I like seeing it, but I'm not worried about being that guy. So
that's still something I'm working on, is like trying not to care about what other people think. We're talking about, would you take a Z06 over a 570S? Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to ever pick a Corvette over a McLaren, because why would you ever pick a Corvette over a McLaren? It's a freaking McLaren. And he was like, well, what do you? Yeah, exactly. And you were like, what? So it's just like, it's just status for you? And I was like, well, kinda. Yeah. Like it's yes, it doesn't matter. But like the status of a McLaren is definitely 10 times cooler than the status of a Chevrolet.
Yeah. And it probably always will be, because so many people feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, yeah, you have to separate yourself from other people's opinions to a certain extent, but it's obviously impossible to completely just not care.
Yeah, so I mean, it was like the same thing when I was in high school, and my dad would be like, "Oh, you're not going to care about name brand clothes one day," and I don't anymore. And now I guess I'm kind of the same way when it comes to cars and stuff, and I just, I have a Nissan. And I'm fine with that.
An Altima, basically.
Basically an Altima. That never gets old.
I think it gets old. So, yeah, that's... It's okay. It's okay. Breathe. That's something I'm definitely still working on. And that's something you can't expect to, like, get to overnight.
No,
that's for
absolutely
sure.
Not. Mm-mm.
And there's a certain aspect you have to keep of that to, like, keep your car on top, I think. That's just a competitiveness in general. But yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I got rid of my GT500 is because to any other person in the world, it's just a Mustang.
Just a Mustang.
And you hate Mustangs anyway, so like, I'm, no special there.
Yeah, but no, see, I thought you had a Mustang when I first reached out to you about doing photos.
True, but I think you were trying to kill me. I don't think that was real.
What makes you think I'm not now?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, no, I give credit where credit is due. Yeah, right. You don't know what's in here. But yeah, I give credit where credit is due. I'm not a Mustang guy by any stretch of the imagination, and I never will be. But like I said in I think the last podcast, had a blast riding in Joel's, and
that's, can you even call that a Mustang at that point? That's freaking
not really.
2,000 horsepower on low boost, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the Cobra Jet doesn't even have a VIN number; it's just a part number.
That was the coolest thing I've ever heard. Like, just the fact that it's so like track oriented, it's literally just a part number.
Yeah, you literally just
no title or anything. Yeah. And I guess that's any like non-street legal car. But
I guess, yeah.
Oh man, but you register a Ford GT, no?
Yeah, but that's it's street legal.
Not that really.
I mean, Tom's is. I guess maybe some of the older ones aren't, but yeah, Tom's is.
Wow, that's two things I've been wrong about with street legal cars now.
Oh, was that all?
So
Hang
far.
on, let me look at the other list.
Well. But no, I think, like not caring about people's opinions is very difficult. And it's not like a bad thing to care about people's opinions, but
absolutely not.
You're definitely going to be more happy if you're not.
No.
But yeah, one of the reasons I got rid of the M8 too was like to anybody but a BMW enthusiast.
Just because he drove the Elantra.
Yeah, right.
God, that thing is wicked right now.
That thing is wicked.
Oh my God.
We got the 6-element guys to tune it, and she actually beat the 5 in a 40 roll race, which is a big feat. I mean, the 540i is tuned. It's not like it's just a piggyback tuner, but it should be mid 400s.
Here's a good thing, like talking about this Elantra, right? it's an Elantra. It's a Hyundai Elantra. It's a 2023?
2023, yeah.
Yeah, and this thing is only making 330-ish horsepower roughly.
I think that's to the wheels.
Yeah, and that is so much fun. And 330 horsepower is nothing.
No.
But in that car, it is. You know, like if you take a Mini Cooper and you have 400 horsepower, that's a wicked car. So that's one thing that people don't understand is they get stuck on this number and they don't think about the weight of the car. And, you know, that's why you hear when they talk about Bugattis and stuff like that, they talk about horsepower per ton and, you know, all this other stuff. That kind of stuff makes a huge difference, just like tires. People overlook tires all the time. And all of these little things that people don't think about, which can kind of segue me into this other conversation we're going to have about being able to afford, you know, the car and maintain the car and the differences. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, man, that Elantra is at 300-ish horsepower, and I had a blast driving that thing today. Today's the first day I drove it since the tune. And dude, 6 Element guys, I don't know what y'all do over there, but your parts are
incredible, like OEM fitment. Seriously,
like, it's insane. And the turbo noises now out of just the intake is insane. The tune, like that's how the car should be from the factory, man. That 100%. Is wicked. And
that's like we got that car for like $30,000. And that car just beat a $72,000 new car, and that car is also tuned. So like,
you've got a JB4 on the
and it's an intake, like no downpipe or anything, which I plan to do at some point. But like,
your wife is a real car girl.
She's basically. She was just telling me she was like kind of afraid of the car the other day. So
that's good.
That is good, and that's another thing we should talk about is having a healthy fear of your own car.
Yep.
You should never ever be fully confident in your car.
Respect that car.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Respect the pouch. Capri Sun reference, whatever. Respect the power.
Wow.
Callback, huh?
Capri Sun, man.
Like my Duck Dynasty callback.
Are we cute?
So yeah, I think that's another thing I want to talk about. It's a good segue is to the horsepower to weight ratio and how much that matters. A lot of people get stuck on this number, and you got Hellcats are a very, very large part of that. Dodge made the slowest 800 horsepower car ever. It's pretty incredible. The Demon 170 just dropped, and they ran like something crazy, like a 8.6 or something like that. It? I think so. I know they're in the 8s.
That was pretty crazy. This is when we need the people over there.
Yeah, right. No one's ever going to replicate that. Ever.
No,
that was perfect conditions.
Bristol for nothing.
No, absolutely not. No one's going to be able to do that, and so you have to understand, like, when they time these things,
891 at 151.17,
which is an incredible number.
0 to 60 in 1.66 seconds,
which is great for a gasoline car.
A boat.
Yeah, right. How much does it weigh?
Oh god,
17,000 pounds.
Let's see.
I think it's like 4,400. Also depends on like the parachute, which is really cool that it comes stock. Like you can order an OEM parachute with it.
Yeah.
And on slicks, I think
4280.
That's not as bad as I thought. It weighs like 1,000 pounds less than the new M5.
So if you get the optional carbon fiber wheels for an extra $45,000, whatever it is, it's not that much. But you are at 4268. So
how much weight do you lose with the carbon fiber?
So you lose another 12 pounds of unsprung weight. So that's pretty good. You know, every pound is good.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess so.
That's why we do the titanium, John.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, you look at even the M8 with the Supra was like, even if I'm making 600 horsepower with the Supra, which I think I'm making more, I hope I'm making more. I should be faster than my 700 horsepower M8 because I'm 1,000 pounds less.
Roughly, yeah. But the Elantra will take you.
Oh, dude, the Elantra would smoke the Supra.
No.
Maybe someday. Maybe we'll get it there.
Cool.
It might beat a stock Supra right now. Could beat a stock Supra.
It'd be super close. I mean, it beats your 5.
Yep.
That's tuned. So
basically, the weight to that would be.
Has anybody got a stock Supra out there? Let's put this. Let's find
seriously.
this in a legal place or in Mexico. Let's find out which one's faster.
So yeah, a lot of people get hung on that number, and it's very important to know the weight to power ratio because you can have 3,000 horsepower and also be weighing 30,000 pounds.
Look at the Aerial Atom.
Exactly. How much horsepower does that thing have?
It's like 300 horsepower or whatever it is, and 320 whatever.
But it weighs like
nothing.
10 pounds.
And it literally blows Jeremy Clarkson's mouth wide open, which is hilarious.
So, I mean, obviously, you look at mowers and stuff like that that have like 2.5 horsepower. You'd think that they would have more. Yeah. Obviously, they're freaking lawn mowers. You know what I'm saying?
People
but like,
race them.
True. That is like a league thing. That and like Zamboni racing, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you have to look at all things, and when it comes to Nürburgring times, it's very important to know like, oh, this is a straight line car. And it still got like a 710 in the Nürburgring. That's really good. It means wicked. It handles well as well.
Yeah.
Or you look at like a Supra with 335 horsepower, I think was when they...
Something like that.
In the 2020 model year at least. And it ran like a 750 at the Nürburgring. But for 300 horsepower, that's pretty freaking good. That must mean it handles well.
Mm-hmm.
Corvette, 530 horsepower stock, I think.
Which one? The C8?
Yeah, the base.
497 or something like that.
Right,
yeah.
But it ran a 730 at the Nürburgring, and the M8 ran a 732, and it has 620. So, like, it's very important to know, and that's, like, the best way. If you can't drive the car to test drive it before you buy it, the best way to know is look at the horsepower, look at the Nürburgring time, and the 0 to 60 times, and just compare and contrast. And you can get a good idea of whether it's a handling car or a straight line car or a hybrid of the two.
Yeah, and it also depends on what you're looking to do with the car, where
Exactly.
you want to go with the car. And,
Yep.
You know, most of the people around here seem like they're more interested in 421 or just who's the fastest.
Right.
And, you know, just pick your poison and go after it.
Absolutely. And a lot of things, I mean, people talk about, oh, I'd rather spend $30,000 in this car and modify it with $30,000 than spend $60,000 on an OEM car.
Right.
Which there is merit to that. It's a good segue, actually. I didn't mean to segue. But you also understand you're severely impeding on the reliability of your car. What
was that noise?
It was a dog barking.
Roof. Okay.
Something like that. You're severely impeding on the reliability of your car, depending on what car it is. The B58 is actually a severely like bulletproof motor. But like if you're doing upgraded turbos, you're pushing power that the stock engine probably can't handle.
Or the trans.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm stuck. I'm stuck with the. I don't want to blow the trans on the Supra because obviously at past 600 torque, a lot of people think it's horsepower too. It's mainly torque. You can go as much horsepower as you want as long as the torque is low enough.
Yeah, usually a good tuner can tune down the torque, save the trans. A lot of GTR tuners will do that.
Yep.
When you upgrade your turbos, but 650-ish I think is like max on the stock GTR trans.
Really?
Something like that.
I think it'd be a lot more than that. That's crazy. So yeah, I'm stuck with the Supra right now at 600 torque because I can't go anything past that or else the trans will blow.
Oh darn.
Yeah, right. That's obviously first world problems. But just as educational purposes, your trans can only handle so much torque, and then the stock internals of the engine can only handle so much power.
Yep, that's when you move to forged rods and pistons.
Right. So when you're like, oh, there's this big turbo kit for $2,000, I'll be pushing 700 horsepower. Can your engine handle it? Can your
supporting
transmission
mods.
handle it? Right.
You need your supporting mods. You need fuel. You need the air. You need everything, man.
And then it's like
tuning.
When the Supra can't hook up right now, if I get a drag pack, I'm probably going to just rip my axle in half.
Probably.
So like you have to
just twist it.
There's a lot to it. And so when you're like, oh, I could just spend $30,000 on a big turbo kit and be done with it, absolutely not. It goes into a lot. And there are a lot of cars that can handle that, but that takes research, obviously. The Supra is one, but really, if you want to push 600 horsepower, 600 torque, you can probably do that on a stock turbo. So you don't really need the big turbo until you push a certain amount of power.
No, but it sure does look good in there.
It does look really good in there. That's
KLM's
for sure.
kit is pretty wicked, man.
It is, yeah. It's really pretty kit.
I love the exhaust manifold on that thing is wicked.
Yeah, they did that super well. You need to work on the catch can. That's the only problem.
Yeah. There's a little bit of problem with that catch can. We got to figure that out or
it's just vented, so if it overflows, it'll just spray on the hood.
Yeah, we had an issue with it overflowing really quickly there for a while.
Yeah. Which I think that's kind of fixed now.
Seems like it fixed itself, but
I also haven't driven the car in like a month and a half, so I don't know. That's another thing. You have to be willing to put your car down for a little while. My car's been down for about a month and a half now. Which actually I want to confirm that, how long it's actually been down. But like at the beginning, it was just the brakes that was a problem. And that was just because we were powder coating the brakes. And it was like, that obviously took us a minute. Plane.
Say it. Go ahead and say it.
I think it's a C-130 outside.
It's not a C-130.
No, I'm just kidding. I know it's not a C-130. It's a joke. There's a plane above us. I don't know if you can hear it. Apparently, these mics are incredible, and they don't pick up anything. Everything we're like, oh, I wish you guys could hear this. You literally cannot hear a thing about it.
There was a C-117 flying around out here, and he says it's a C-130. So now it's been a thing. So every plane we see or hear
Exactly.
is a. I think he even called a helicopter a C-130 one day.
It was a C-130 with a propeller, just a modified C-130.
See, that's the thing, man. He
C-130.
didn't.
Sorry.
He didn't think about, he modified it, and now look.
Yeah, exactly. Now everybody thinks he's a helicopter when he's a C-130.
This is terrible. This is awful.
Dude, my car's been down since July 14th, and it is September 8th.
How many miles have you put on it in that time?
Like none.
Very little.
Yeah. That's insane. My car's been down for almost 2 months. On the 14th, it'll be 2 months.
Is that when we started the brakes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was such a weird issue on that.
Yeah, so anyway, we took the brakes off to powder coat them. We put them on. There was some kind of leak in one of the bleeder valve stems.
I guess.
And we just couldn't fix it, so we took it to the dealership. If you have an extremely modified car that's tuned, don't take it to the dealership. That was my first mistake.
Should not be flashing ECUs or doing any kind of work without reaching out to you first.
Right.
And these guys did not.
So I dropped it off there. I was like, hey, there's a brake issue. And they were like, cool, we'll fix it. And I didn't sign anything or anything like that. Just kind of figured it would be the thing. I even had my little thing that was like, don't wash the car, ceramic coated, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, you got to put tape all over the ECU too, and tell them not to flash it. So I go back, and they're like, cool, we just flashed the ECU. Brakes seem fine. Brakes were not fine at all.
No.
It was like 40% compression before you felt anything?
Oh, it was awful, man.
Which you don't have to be a car guy to understand that your brakes should work when you push them.
He was damn near Barney Rubble.
Yeah, whatever that means. Barney Rubble? What does it mean?
The Flintstones?
Oh, yeah.
You hear me?
Dude, Flintstone gummies is my thing, dude. Vitamin D. See?
Okay. So, you use their feet to stop their cars back in...
Yes.
Do you? Because you got that look on your face. Like
Of course I know what I know what the Flintstones are, obviously. I guess I never understood that clip.
I don't think you do.
Whatever. I'm not going to say the name of the dealership. They took care of everything, and they made sure that everything was cool, and we fixed it.
Yeah, once they figured out they did something wrong, they didn't hesitate to step up and take care of it.
So good for them.
Yep.
That is very uncommon.
Yeah.
So if you do take it to a dealership and they flash it, obviously you can go try, but just don't yell at them. They just did what they were supposed to do and didn't realize.
Treat people with respect, and you'll get it in return.
Get it back for sure. Goes around, comes around. Everything happens for a reason. Just keep saying motivational quotes.
It is what it is.
Yes, sir. So anyway, the car's been down for a while, and that was basically because we've been modifying it. Now, the brakes were a different thing, but because it was modified, when I took it to the dealership, that hurt okay.
This is when we break into our rap.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, if you're going to modify your car, you have to be willing to accept the results of being extremely modified.
Yep.
I actually talked about buying a Corvette, and I was like, I don't really want to go down like the straight line speed. So it's like, maybe I'll be like the first twin turbo C8 around here. And then
so expensive.
Everyone pointed out that obviously a twin turbo will require supporting mods, and it would most likely be down all the time because you're pushing a level of power that's just going to destroy the car.
Yeah, even when like TJ Hunt and Amelia Hartford, when they started doing theirs, when they first came out, they were having all kinds of issues. Of course, that was when they were trying to unlock the ECU and all that kind of stuff, which is another thing people had to think about. Like, because if you had a newer Supra, flashing that, you got to send it to like Finland or something like that.
Yeah, Finland or Sweden, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called a femto unlock.
Yeah, so you got to send it way out and wait for that. And, just if you're going to modify cars, one, make sure you own the car.
Definitely.
Don't be modifying
a lease car for sure.
All right.
A car that's
if you're making payments on your car, man, just maintain it and drive it.
The Elantra's got a loan on it though.
Listen, man.
But that's different. Also, the Elantra has hold its value, and we could sell it for more than we bought it for now.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Also, I forgot where I was going to go with that now.
Sick.
Yeah.
It sounded so passionate, though. I was so ready.
I was so ready for it, man. But yeah, if you're going to modify a car, just be prepared. Hopefully you got, other means of transportation. There's nothing wrong with daily driving your car that you have fun with. I drive my GTR all the time. I bought it to drive. You know, a lot of people get these cars and they let them sit in the garage and stuff like that. I've put damn near 70,000 miles on that thing in 4 years, which is, I bought it to drive, man. Like I always said, if I got a GTR, I was going to drive the wheels off of it, and that's what I do.
I'd like to think that we would do that if we had a Senna or a P1 and as well.
Oh yeah, like Mr. Bean with his Rowan Atkinson. You know, he had the McLaren F1 and put tons of miles on that, wrecked it twice.
Yep.
I think he still holds the record for the highest insurance policy or whatever.
Yep.
And he's awesome. I love Mr. Bean.
Yeah, and he had a freaking McLaren F1.
Yep.
How could you hate the guy?
Yeah, he still loves cars, and I think he races still.
Does he?
Yep.
I didn't realize that he raced.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Not like professionally, but
yeah, sure.
Just, you know,
Like
or
us.
maybe he did. I don't know.
Kidding. Yeah, so and there's also different types of modifying. Me and Matt disagree on the definitions here, but there's stage 1, 2, and
Lord.
3, which I'm going to give my quick definition of what those mean. But apparently, I think it goes by car, though. Matt, wake up.
What?
I think it goes by car, right? Because the general consensus on BMWs is like stage 1 is cold air intake.
It's cool. You guys are just like Subaru guys.
Thank you. Is cold air intake, downpipe, and tune. That's like stage 1. That's like, here's how to modify your car a little bit. Stage 2 is like bolt-ons. So like that's maybe upgraded turbos. No, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Stage 1 is cold air intake. Stage 2 is cold air intake, downpipe, and tune. Stage 3 is like when you're getting into like the big stuff like upgraded turbos or like full bolt-ons, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then like stage 4, I don't think there really is a stage 4. I think that's just you're past the modifying stage. So that's my like definition of stages, right? And I know that there's different stages, and I know that, I mean, you talk about the ECUs being locked, and that's different per car too. The Elantras are only locked 2024, so the 2023 was completely unlocked. You have to do like a patch tune, but I don't know if that was a 6-element thing or if that's a unlock of some sort.
I don't know.
But usually unlocks require you to take your ECU out and ship them somewhere or be in a place where someone can do that remotely with you.
I don't go by the whole stage thing.
Whatever.
It's that simple. Put an intake on your car. Make sure you're tuned for it. Put downpipes on your car. Make sure you're tuned for it.
That's another thing. There's different tunes that require, different mods that require tunes and some don't. So that's what, to the mercy of the mod? I mean,
I guess, yeah. Like
most cold air intakes wouldn't require a tune.
a lot of them do, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And there's actually aftermarket intakes out there for certain cars that hurt your performance. Like
right.
The Mazda RX-8, I always think about that. There's only a couple of intakes like Racing Beat. There was one more, maybe AEM or something like that, that actually improved performance because the stock airbox was just so good. But
right.
Everybody automatically assumes, well, I need to have an intake if I'm going to make more power. Mm-hmm. If you're buying an RX-8 and you're trying to make power, it's never going to happen.
That's fair.
Unless you're swapping motors. Even if you put turbo on there, man. Like, I remember we built one at Ride Revolution back in the day, and we put a Greddy turbo on it, and I don't think it made 300 horsepower.
Jeez.
And he ended up doing nitrous to try and break that, and like it's just, I love those cars, and those cars are made for handling. Period. Just like BRZs and FRSs, which doesn't
FRS GR86 and BRZ.
Yeah, so cool cars. The number one car that looks fast but isn't. Shout out to you, Garrett.
They do look good though. That's for
his
sure.
looks. That blue. He just needs some wheels, Garrett. But yeah, like there's just some cars out there and some mods that are just they serve no purpose. You know what I mean? Like you'll see it all the time. You'll see people like Donut Media and all these other YouTubers and stuff that Whoa! Speaking of that, go watch Donut Media. Watch the high-low cars.
Oh, that's such a cool.
Oh, I love it, man. Because they're doing one now with Mustangs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
But they did the 350Zs where they, they have one car. For you guys that don't know, they have one car where they basically have no budget. They buy all the cool parts.
What is the budget? Oh, like no budget, like they have.
Yeah, so high car
unlimited
can
money.
buy whatever they want.
Right.
And then low car has like a certain amount of money where they can only spend, and basically they buy eBay parts.
Right.
And, it's pretty incredible some of the stuff that gets out there, and it just outperforms or performs just as good as the more expensive stuff. just like people will be like, the PS4 and Michelin tires are the absolute best. Are they though?
Yeah.
Like, can you drive your car good enough that you need to justify that kind of money? Now, I'm not saying that they're not bad. They're not good tires, because they are.
Still the best. I think we can agree.
Yeah, they're basically the best tire. But
that aren't 200 treadwear, because that's different too.
Yeah. But are they the best tire for you in your budget? And, like the Continentals like you have on the Supra are cheaper, and I ran those on my GTR, and I honestly, for my driving level, my skill, everything like that, I never could tell a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got these Nittos on there, and they're a good-looking tire, and they hold up okay, but they suck in the rain, and they just do not grip as much as the Continental, and and that's just the luck of the draw, really. I got the G2s on there, but you don't always have to buy the most expensive thing, and just live in your budget, be comfortable, don't worry about whether or not your wheels are reps. That is one thing that I would never agree with. Obviously, if it's my choice, I'm going to go with TE37s, real Volks, whatever it is, but not everybody can afford that, and there's no reason that you should ever trash talk somebody for having cheap, unless it's your buddy and you're just kidding. But
they look good. Like, why can you knock something that looks good?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Whatever.
Like, sure, they might not be as strong and all this stuff, but just because this person can afford it doesn't mean that everybody else has it. This guy has HREs. If this guy has, I don't want to say a brand and sound like I'm snobbing, but just because somebody has a rep or whatever, who cares?
Well, it's like somebody buying a C8 and you're like, really, why didn't you buy McLaren? Like, yeah, I wanted to. Sorry.
I would love to.
Like, sure, let me just buy that instead.
Because I have a family. Like,
yeah, exactly. I don't have that money.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with reps. And the only time I draw the line at, like, spending money is, like, when it's dangerous. Like, you don't want to buy... I probably wouldn't buy, like, Alibaba wheels or something like that.
I wouldn't be out there riding around on 4-lug wheels, but only using 3 lug nuts on all 4 wheels.
Shout out to Ethan.
I
think he just got his 4th lug nut on, by the way. We won't talk about that.
Sweet.
But no, I think, there is a certain line where it's like, buy once, cry once, right?
Yeah,
so, like, there are certain things it's like, if you have the money for it, just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the end, you're just going to have to buy the big thing anyway.
100%.
Or you're going to spend money replacing it and replacing it and replacing it for the cheap one, and you're going to end up spending that kind of money anyway.
Yeah, it's like people, oh man, I should just reuse this gasket. It looks fine. No, like it's
just
a gasket.
Get the new one while you can.
Yeah, and if you got to wait a couple of days, that's fine too. Patience.
Yep. Patience is a big thing
Patience
that I'm
is a big thing.
still learning. The Mustang out there, the 89 Mustang that I want to work on, I don't want to work on it yet because I don't want to work on it until I have the money to do everything right. Because if we're going to drop the engine and rebuild some of it, let's just rebuild it all. Let's just do it right. And that's a little different because if you have the work ethic to drop the engine 3 times when you can afford the different gaskets, do it, I guess.
But why?
But yeah, like just wait and do it right.
Build you a pile of parts and then get you and your buddies together and we do it.
Yep. Yeah, patience is a big thing. I'm not really about patience.
He's not.
Get it done.
We're getting there.
We're
not getting there at all.
No, we're trying to get there.
We're trying.
Really hard we're trying, but it's not working at all for some reason. We're definitely going to make a shirt that says patience, and it has, like, the definition and stuff like that.
J-Ray-Tay.
Yep.
Not J-Ray-Tay is what it was saying.
Yeah, exactly. No, and so...
What would you say, like, of the cars you've had?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about being able to maintain cars and stuff. Have we even gotten onto that? Yeah, we're kind of on that, right?
A little bit, yeah.
What's the most, expensive maintenance item or something like that you've had to do so far?
I actually haven't had much with mine. I've been really lucky. I haven't owned my cars very long, too, so I haven't, like, run into to that kind of thing. Tires are very, very expensive.
Yes.
There are cheaper alternatives, of course.
Mm-hmm. Now we know some people that buy those takeoffs. They'll buy a used tire that has 1,000 miles on it. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But in my personal opinion, I prefer to buy tires new just so I can have a warranty and stuff like that. And
I get that. I disagree.
Yeah,
but I get that.
Yep, I know.
Because when have you ever really used a warranty on a tire? I mean, I know that the day that it happens,
is insurance, man. Like, how often do you use your insurance?
Yeah.
Bam. So,
yeah.
Well,
no, I get
when
it.
You're married to my wife.
Yeah, pretty much. Is it a plane again?
C-130?
I guess so.
Sounds like a train.
It does sound. It sounded like a train horn.
Yeah.
For a second. Not that you guys can hear that at all. C-130. There must be an airport around here. I don't know.
Swear.
I
think it's LAX. It's right over here.
Yeah, right. Our studio would be a lot nicer if we were in LAX. So
I saw Ron Jeremy in LAX.
who's Ron Jeremy?
He was a man of many things in certain films. You know, sometimes he could be a plumber. Sometimes he'd be a cable guy.
Okay.
He
Yeah,
might
we got
deliver pizza sometimes.
We got it. Teacher, student, tutor.
Nah, this dude didn't look like a but I had to explain to Ashley who it was.
Gosh.
And when I did, she's like, him?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay. So, Frick, what we were just talking about, because we were talking about something. Oh, okay.
Like maintenance and
so there's a big thing about BMWs. There was a TikTok I saw that was like, when the 16-year-old's BMW maintenance costs double what he paid for the car in the first place. Just because it's a cheap car at the beginning does not mean that the maintenance is going to be cheap. BMW parts are expensive, and you might think you can fix it by yourself, and you probably can, but it's probably going to require a tool that BMW made specifically for that part.
We have a box of timing tools somewhere in here just for the Mini because it's a weird... man, like I get it. Man, some of the stuff just needs it, but you've got to think about this stuff when you go to buy a car. Do your research.
Yep.
Now, obviously, if you got a budget, just do the best you can. But
But like, if you've got $5,000 to spend, maybe don't buy a salvage title M340i. Buy like a BRZ.
Yeah. Yes. God bless. Yes. There's nothing
salvage
wrong.
titles are a big thing too.
Yeah. There's nothing really wrong with a lot of salvage titles, and if you're getting a deal. But like that one I sent you last night, asking that much money for that car with a salvage title.
It's a $39,000 BMW M340i with 68,000 miles salvage title.
They ain't paying that.
You can buy one for less mileage with a clean title for like 35.
It's a pretty color, though.
Buy an Elantra N. I love the M340i.
I'm telling you, not to jump back on that thing, but the Elantra N is such a fun car. It's such a good car.
I'm going to make a preposterous statement here. I think it's the new Civic.
Well, that is preposterous. I'm not a Honda fanboy, but you'll never replace the Civic.
The only thing that the Civic has over the Elantra N right now is a lot more aftermarket support.
That and the history.
Yeah, but who cares about the history right now? Get out of here.
Most any import guy.
Yeah, but like, what was that noise?
Hey, you hear that?
That's really cool.
My wife shouldn't have gave me this one.
No, she definitely.
You
can do it one more time.
Can I?
Yep.
All right, ready? Hold on, I'm just trying to. Oh, that was a good one.
That's really nice.
Anyways, I'm gonna move this over here.
Okay, so history. That's a good thing to talk about. Actually, history matters.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
However, I don't like when people are stuck on history, like the Corvette. I didn't even mean to segue there, but this will be good.
Or the Mustang.
True. Is the new C8 really a C8? Is the new C8 Corvette really a Corvette? First of all,
you can make good arguments,
but it is a Corvette. Period.
Because no matter what you say, it is a Corvette. Period.
Because who has that call?
GM.
Exactly. So if GM says this Corvette's a Corvette, that's not up to us.
Just like the Mustang Mach-E. I'm sorry, guys. Mustang.
Unfortunately, it's a Mustang.
Unfortunately, it is.
However, I was talking to a guy, one of our good friends, Crispy, about that, and he's a firm believer that that the C8 is not a Corvette. And I was fully on your side about this. It was like, bottom line, it's a C8. However, I do understand that obviously when you think of Corvette, you think of front-engined GT car.
Yeah, rear-wheel drive.
Right? And so I understand.
V8.
Right, when you fully change a platform, it's not the same car. However, what are they supposed to do? Like, if we have the new technology and we know that a rear-engine or mid-engine car is better, we're just not supposed to upgrade our stuff?
Kind of like going to a hybrid.
That's another thing. He brought up the GTR, too. We'll get to that. I understand that, like, the lineage of the Corvette is changed. But I'm sure at some point there was a massive change in the Corvette from, like, C2 to C3 where they were like, are you kidding me? This isn't a Corvette anymore.
One day it had carbureted. Next day it's fuel injected. And, there's always going to be changes and upgrades. And, a car like the Corvette needed to become the C8 to, compete with things in its price range. And the C8 was great when it came out, and then now when you look at the C8, when you see a C8, yeah, that's a good looking car, but then you think it's really not living up to what it looks like. And then you come out with the Z06 and the ZR1, and you're like, okay, all right, Chevy's getting real. Yep. And there's things I don't like about the Corvette.
Like what?
I don't think the interior.
Oh, I love the interior.
I hate the steering wheel. Hate it.
Really?
I do. I hate the squircle or whatever they
call it.
Squircle,
yeah.
It's so stupid. Just give me a flat bottom. But anyway,
I loved what it what it felt like in my hands.
I also hate the steering wheel, the yoke in the Model S Plaid. But anyway,
that's fair. But I want to try one next.
Before we get into that, like the only thing I love I hate the steering wheel. I love the gauge display, the lookout, the layout. Excuse me. I don't like the little the tower with all the buttons and stuff. I don't care for that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of everything being driver oriented, and then
I like the cockpit style.
Yeah, I like that. It's just I don't know. The layout could have been a little bit better.
So the tower's weird.
Yep.
Because I feel like it completely cuts you off from your passenger, which I think is weird.
I need that.
Yeah, right.
You've met my wife.
Yes, I have. But I feel like if I want to hold my wife's hand, I can't do that in the C8. Exactly. And so like if there's a tower here, we can't do this. We're holding hands for the audio viewers. Okay. Not now. We'll do this later. But like, I love the cockpit style. I love like the driver-oriented setup. The Supra is actually passenger-oriented, so my screen is facing the passenger. We won't get into that.
Yeah. The older Supra though was very like cockpit style. The
really?
Mark IVs, yeah, they were very like F14, whatever back then, and
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's still really cool looking to me. Which I've said many times, I'm not a huge Supra fan. Mark IV Supra fan. I definitely don't like the Mark III.
Yeah, for sure. So I understand that the lineage with the C8 changed. However, I don't think that it's fair for them to just not be able to upgrade their stuff. Like the C8 is a much better car.
Yeah, who gets to determine? Like, who is it that says no? It has to be a front-engined rear-wheel drive car,
right?
When it comes down to it, the people that get to make it is GM, Chevrolet. Those are the guys that design it. They're the ones that pay for it. They're the ones that do all that. And then, like it or not,
right?
It's just the way it goes.
And I agree that, like, metaphorically, analytically, statistically, the Mustang Mach-E is not a Mustang. However, Ford says it was.
It is.
So now,
I think that's a pretty cool car.
I actually do think the Mustang Mach-E is really cool.
I could care less about what it's called. I think it looks pretty good, especially the GTs.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty cool. Like, I don't know.
It's just not cool.
It's not something I want.
When you say it's a Mustang.
Yeah. Because I'll never understand why they called that a Mustang.
Yeah. It was to get hype around their first EV. That's all. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Anything else.
The F-150 Lightning makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's a fully just electrified version of the car.
And it doesn't seem like it's doing that well.
No.
Like, you never hear about it.
Mm-mm.
It's really rare.
It was like all cool until somebody towed one boat with it and it got 30 miles of range, and then they.
So why aren't people mad because of this being called a Lightning? But the Lightning used to be a pretty badass truck back in the day.
True, they did completely ruin the lineage of that, which I think a lot of people are upset about that actually, but I just not as loud as the C8 guys.
Tom has a Ford Lightning.
Does he?
Yeah.
They're cool. I would own one. I love the frunk and stuff like that.
Not the new one. He has the
old
school cool one.
Of course he does. He's always cooler than everybody else.
Tom is so cool, man.
Tom is really cool. We'll do a car tour.
I reached out to him the other day, and he's down. Like, he wants to meet up, and that's gonna be fun, man.
Yep.
You'll have to get over your stage fright.
Yeah, right.
Being around him.
Now that you've messaged him, he knows who I am. We're chilling.
He's watched your movies now. Jeremy's an actor, guys. I don't know if y'all know that.
Dude, don't tell him.
He's been in movies.
Dude, just don't tell him.
He's been in, what was it? That? Is that what it's called? That?
Is this.
It was this.
And Goose Pimples, I think.
Chicken Skin, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. Strawberry Skin. I don't know.
Go watch Stephen King's It.
Yes.
Chapter 1 and 2 and see our boy here.
Yes, sir.
Is it true?
Stop it. Get out of here. Stupid questions. Frick, I was going to say something about the C8. And I can't remember what it is now. But I had this kablamo point.
If you were to get a C8 ZR1, no, Z06, would you get the hardtop or convertible?
So here's my problem with the convertible. It would 100% be convertible if you could see the engine bay.
But you do get the Targa top.
Exactly. So when I was going to buy one, I was going to buy a normal or coupe, I guess. Coupe instead of Corvette. Convertible. Oh my gosh.
Stingray.
Yes. I was going to buy that because you can take the top off. So really all you're losing from the convertible would be like the fact that it's down like here instead of
you still
down
get to
here.
see the motor, and you still get to hear the motor, almost like an open top. That would be my biggest thing in the
Right.
ZR1 or the Z06, especially the ZR1. Hearing them turbos, oh my gosh! So it's, not to segue. I don't remember if I talked about this before, but riding in Ryan's GT4 RS.
No, you have not talked about that.
Did you ever ride in it?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
My God. So I don't know if you guys, well, I'm sure you guys, if y'all are listening to us, I'm pretty sure you know, like all 32 of you that, tune in every episode. We appreciate you. No, but Ryan and my buddy Ryan's GT4 RS, we're talking about hearing the sounds and stuff. That is wicked.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys know, there's intakes for the engine, and they're literally right behind your head.
Yep.
You want to put a picture up here of the car?
I could try and find one.
I'll send you one.
If not,
I've
here's a
got
diagram
Ryan's
of what
car.
it would look like.
Yeah. It's just you drawing it.
Yeah, right.
But, you got these, and if you turn and you look back behind you, you can actually see the carbon fiber tubes, and you hear all that, and that is one of the coolest things I've ever ridden in.
Yeah. There's actually a, I think it's a Bronco Raptor or something.
Yeah.
Like the Everglades edition or something like that.
Yeah.
Where there's the scuba, the snorkel.
Oh, okay.
And the snorkel comes up to the window, and so you can hear
God.
the turbo spool, which is really
That's
cool.
pretty
It's like the
neat.
same concept, but it's front engine.
Yeah. What is it with some cars having like silencers in their intake track to kill that noise? BMW's terrible for
The
that.
540i has a freaking turbo silencer or muffler.
Dumb.
You can't hear it.
I want to hear it.
It's like what? I know 80-year-olds buy these things all the time, but like, you don't think they want to hear the turbo like a little bit?
I want to hear turbos like Charlie's car.
100%.
God,
Or
or
like
like
the
your M8 was. Yeah, that thing was loud. Yep. God, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just think that calling a company stupid for upgrading their car is just silly.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're just trying to stick with the times and
Yeah.
stay relevant. That's a tough market to stay relevant in.
here's my kablamo point. My biggest problem with the Corvette, you're spending $250,000 on the CR1, right?
ZR1.
ZR1, that's what I said.
Sound like CR1.
That's what I meant to say.
Play it back.
ZR1. And you're getting a Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting a Corvette. And we know a guy with a beautiful C6 Z06.
Who?
And it's built. Yeah.
Who?
Leighton?
Who?
Oh my gosh. Get out
I'm
of
just
here.
kidding. Love you, Leighton.
Beautiful car. He had a C6 before that one as well. It was like the nastiest sounding thing you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
No offense to Leighton, but if I'm spending $250,000 on a supercar, I don't want to have the same car as Leighton,
You don't want to look like that. And
right?
Yeah.
I don't want the same car as my 80-year-old uncle. I want a $250,000 supercar. Okay? So I think that if they were to name it the Avalon or the
Lyric?
the Chevrolet Lyric. Okay. I think that I would like it better.
What would you name a supercar? Let's say you get to name a McLaren. What would you name it?
I've always loved the way Pagani sounds.
Well, you can't name it.
I know, but it's something
the
like
McLaren Pagani.
That.
Who's the god of breaking wind?
Breaking wind,
Yeah,
like farting.
yeah.
I don't think there is a god of farting.
Is there not?
Well, I'm sure there is
There
somewhere.
should be.
But there's definitely a god of wind.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is though.
Nike?
No, I think it's pronounced Nike,
Nike.
something like that.
Nike.
Look up the god of wind
The god of wind. Hey Siri,
or the god of speed.
who
God of
is the
speed would
god
be
of
cool.
wind?
Zeus. That'd be a really cool name actually for a car.
Holy shit! It says Zeus.
Really?
It does.
Well, I thought he was the god of like lightning.
Is the king of the Olympians, the god of sky, weather, thunderstorms, lightning bolts, winds, and clouds.
Dang.
Damn you, Zeus.
The McLaren Zeus. That would be sick. So we've actually talked
It's
about
a little on the nose, but yeah,
yeah, of course.
it is.
You
I gotta play Jeff and Pool real quick. I'm listening.
can't play Jeff and Pool. We're
Sorry.
filming a podcast.
Sorry, Jeff.
So I don't know if the 600 of you have seen Real Steel.
Yeah.
But it's kind of niche, believe it or not, even though it's like Hugh
Is it?
Jackman. I feel like it is.
I think that's a great movie.
It's an incredible movie.
You should have been in it.
I actually turned down.
Yeah, you did.
I
But
turned down the
made a
role
good
in that
choice.
movie.
You
I
made
turned.
a good choice.
I don't know if I turned. I don't know if I turned down the role or if I turned down the audition.
We're just gonna go with role because
that sounds a lot cooler.
yeah, you're a rock star when you say that.
Basically. So I turned down the role to be Hugh Jackman's. What is that? His son or his nephew?
Yeah, it's his son. Is his strange son.
It was his nephew.
I'm pretty sure it was his son.
Turned down the role to be his son. Anyways, we've always talked about doing Real Steel car builds. I think that'd be so cool because Kaylee was going to do the Elantra Purple. So we were like, what if you did like a Noisy Boy build?
She kind of did.
I'll throw a picture of Noisy Boy.
Yeah, that'd been dope, man. But she
have like the Korean or Japanese lettering across like a racing stripe.
Korean.
Whatever.
Yeah,
true.
The Korean GTR.
Whatever Noisy Boy was though. I really want to do a Zeus build. I actually thought about doing a Zeus build with the Supra and naming him Zeus. Her Zeus, my bad. Cars are hers. Vehicles are hers.
Are they? All of them?
Yeah.
Kit wasn't. Knight Rider.
That's not fair. That's fiction. That was a big thing in It, by the way. If you've ever seen that, I don't know.
What's that?
What tie I have to that? Or sorry, is it called This?
Yes, that.
That
was the second one.
Yeah.
This
and that. Oh my gosh, so stupid.
This is ridiculous.
It is. So we talked about doing Real Steel builds, which would be so cool. So if we ever do like a high and low car,
Yeah.
you do like Zeus and Adam.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be
Adam,
perfect.
cool.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, low car beat Adam. All beat.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, that'd be
Peanut.
so sick, actually.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's talk about like what it takes to get into cars, because I've had a lot of conversations with people about like, oh, I just don't have the money or whatever, and like I only have like $20,000. You do not need $20,000 to get into the car scene.
Oh no, God, no.
If you're buying a much cheaper car, it'd be nicer if you had a daily of some kind and this was like your fun car.
Yeah. Your fun car should not be your means of transportation if you can help it.
Yeah.
You know, some people don't have that option.
Yeah, of course.
That was me for a long time.
And that's not a problem.
Nope, not at all.
So what, like the minimum, I mean, how much money you need to get in the car scene, really?
God, really, you don't need much. Like, I bought the Mini. It's a daily, $3,000. So, I mean.
And that's that's a good car.
Yeah,
like,
it's a fun car.
yeah. It needs some work, of course.
Yeah.
But that's mainly elbow grease. That's not like.
I mean, it's kind of the point of why we bought the car, too.
Exactly.
Because, you know, Peanut wants to learn to work on cars. She's in here helping us a lot. Or bossing us around.
Yeah.
Basically.
Showing us how to do stuff.
Yeah. Kind of like Kaylee.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've seen the videos, guys. I hope. If you haven't, why are you here?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
welcome. Please stay.
Yeah, stay. No, but you know what I miss is $500 shit boxes that you used to be able to buy back in the day, like Civic hatches, because some Civic hatches are so cool, and I would love to build one.
I don't know what body style of Civic it is, but it's usually in white, and it's very round. Kind of almost looks like a Golf, but it's old.
So it might be like the EK hatch or something.
Okay.
You can throw one up on the screen for them.
It's really pretty, whatever it is.
Now, my buddy Christian had one back when we worked together at Ride Revolution, and that was one of the prettiest hatches I'd ever seen. And it was like he never said it was like a Type R like some people would do. He never put Type R badges on it. Is this what you're talking about?
That's not what I'm talking about.
Is it not?
No.
I
Let me look up
these.
Generation. I don't know what it was.
The EK hatch is what I really like, so please put one of them up here for me.
Okay. Honda Civic. Generations. But no, I saw one for the first time like 2 years ago or so.
Are you thinking about the Civic Si hatch thing? The EP?
Probably.
I think it's called an EP.
Maybe it's. They're just saying generation.
EP3 hatch.
It's a 7th or a 6th generation. One of the few.
Like this?
Yeah.
That's the EP3.
EP3 right here.
Yeah,
those are really cool. Those are probably pretty cheap.
They are cheap because they were garbage.
Nice. Very cool.
they were
That's another thing. If you are on a budget, you have to decide, like, is it going to look good or is it going to be fast? Because that's not something you can get with $1,000. You know what I mean?
No. Not now.
Right.
Definitely not now.
No, definitely not now.
I saw Meadow today, actually, and she was on her bike, of course, but a friend of hers, I can't remember his name, and I hate that, but really nice looking Miata, and I said, "Oh man, his looks better than yours." And I don't remember what she paid for hers, but it was stupid cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap, dude.
It's like $2,500 or something for a Miata, which is pretty big deal, manual. But yeah, that's a cool car to get into.
And it needed some work, but that was mainly elbow grease. I remember she brought her wheels over here, and all of us just went at steel wooling them.
Yeah,
and just making them look better.
Yeah.
So if you are to buy a car like that, even if it's not in show condition, a lot of that can be fixed just with some elbow grease.
Yeah,
and you do it yourself, and that's part of the fun.
It is. You start learning.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I said. That's why we got the Mini.
Yep.
So the kid can learn.
Absolutely.
But that's a fun car, man. I think it's so much fun. It's got a couple issues that got to get worked out, so I start driving it again.
Yeah,
and then
of course.
Start getting parts together for the old K swap.
That'll be so cool. That'll be a really good build series,
man. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Hopefully, we can start posting 2 times a week at some point. Because we have the Elantra build.
Yep.
And now we're gonna have the Mini Cooper build, and then at some point I want to do the Mustang build.
Yeah.
So
we got a new video coming out. Oh no, it's already out.
It is already out. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be out when this is out.
We do still have a new video coming out.
Yeah, there's still gonna be a new video coming
at
out.
all points. But anyway, so you don't have to have much to start in general, really at all. Obviously, yes, you're gonna have to have money to have a faster car or a better looking car, and all that's subjective at the end of the day. And
maintenance is very much more important.
Yes, if you buy a car for $500, make sure you have the money to either own that car and maintain it, or to fix it whenever you first get it.
That's another thing. Like, we talked about looking this up off camera, but buying a car like a GTR, just because what I have experience with. If you buy a GTR, man, you're gonna learn real fast that the GTR tax is a real thing. It's not that it's not that the car itself to maintain. If you were gonna buy a GTR and keep it stock, you're gonna be able to maintain it, and it's gonna be fine. Yep. Just because of what it is doesn't mean you can't work on it. Doesn't mean you can't do this or that. But when you start looking at parts,
including aftermarket, because dude, I was this close to pulling the trigger on a 570S. But we were kind of talking about it, and we were like, yeah, I mean, if I buy this thing, I'm just going to be sitting here being like, oh, well, this is expensive.
Yep.
Because I just put all the money.
Yeah.
I just put all the money into buying an OEM car.
GTR
and now
parts
it's $10,000 for an exhaust that's shorter than any other car because it's rear-engined.
Yep. And if you got a car of that caliber, GTR caliber, whatever, you don't want to be out there buying Alibaba parts and, putting just crap parts on there, because you want stuff that fits like 6 Element does, and like the AMS and the ETS and Boost Logic, all these guys that do the best stuff, like Speed by Design. Speed by Design, it's a company that does a lot of GTR stuff.
Okay.
He catches a lot of hate out there, and apparently there was some issues with some of the stuff that he released like early when he started this stuff. But I know the owner, and his name's Chris. Every single time I've ever reached out to him, even if it wasn't something that was related to his parts, dude is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it was a Sunday one day, I got my exhaust, and I got it a couple of days before, and I went to go put it on, and it had gotten damaged in shipping, and I messaged him. Didn't expect to hear from him. He called me like 30 minutes later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on a Sunday, and was telling me, this happens a lot. It was like where the tip goes over, it had gotten flattened out a little bit, so it looked like a D. And he's like, yeah, you just run over here and get this, and that'll fix it. And I did, and it was no problem. And I swear to God, man, his parts are fine. I don't understand it. Like, people, I mean, you've seen not my intakes. I have ETS, but I've got some SPD parts on there, and never had issues, man. He tuned my car for me the first time, and then I went to Sharif, which was a dream. And now Sam Barrows is my tuner, and that's a dream. And Jeff just messaged me back about playing pool.
Get out of here.
Sorry, man. Priorities. Just kidding.
Yeah, I think there are 3 different types of costs with a car, and it's like, first is the initial buy-in.
Yes.
Which is very important and going to be the most expensive.
Yeah.
And then you've got maintaining, and you've got modifying.
Yes.
AMG tax, M tax for BMWs, RS tax for Audis. My bad. Or I guess it's R tax, RS.
Yeah. I mean, I guess RS.
Because there's blank, or there's A, there's S, and there's RS.
Yeah, because there's R8, and it's not a RS8.
Yeah. Kelly Audi's stupid. Get out of here.
Are our wives back?
Yes, they are. I told her we're not finished yet, so she'll be in a minute.
Good.
There's the cat, though.
Enzo.
So Like I said at the beginning, sometimes if you're going to buy a salvage title M340i, your maintenance may cost more than the total price of the car at some point.
Yep.
If you're going to buy a car like that, make sure you can do your oil changes by yourself, or at least it's under warranty. But if you're buying that kind of car, it probably won't be.
Yep.
And then you got the modifications. The M-Tax for the M8, even though there wasn't much aftermarket support for it at all, was as bad, if not worse, than the GTR Tax.
It's terrible.
It was insane.
It was stupid, man.
Totally insane.
Exhausts are the biggest,
stupidest thing ever.
I'm not gonna say rip off, but geez, man, some of these.
They're not rip offs because they're great assets and they do a lot for the car, but like
so overpriced most of the time.
Right.
Man,
there's no reason that the same distance of pipes and the same types of mufflers should be a different price.
Thousands of dollars differences. Yeah. It just shouldn't be.
A 720S exhaust should not cost. It should cost less.
Right. Yeah. Anything rear mounted or mid mounted should be cheaper.
When the exhaust is this long versus the length of the car.
Right. And I get that there's exotic materials that some are being made out of. We still need to reach out to your friend and see about a Damascus tip.
Mm-hmm. That'd be really cool.
Sick.
We'll get to that later. That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
So yeah, be careful and do your research. There is usually an article you can read that's like, here's the yearly average yearly maintenance cost of these cars.
Yeah, and that's not opinion based there.
No, not at all.
That's just factual.
It's like Consumer Reports or something like that. I don't know. You can.
Yeah, there's different ones, but
yeah. You also have to be careful about Consumer Reports because those are consumers, and Buicks are rated higher on the reliability scale than some cars that are owned by people who would drive them differently.
Yeah.
So if you have 90-year-olds who are driving Buicks and they're not being driven very hard or very much, obviously they're going to be in turn more reliable than other things.
Yep. I can tell you Ferraris aren't reliable.
Yeah, right. Lexus and Toyota are obviously battle-worn and proven that they're the best. But
my Nissan, I hadn't had any problems out of that car.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of like a flat tire
right.
I had. But other than
that's not the fault of the manufacturer either.
Nope.
Unless you're going 86 and your motor blows.
My wife just texts me, I see you. I can't see her because of the light.
No, the light's really bright. So make sure you're doing your research on that kind of thing, and make sure, because your maintenance costs may be above average if you buy a salvage title car.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's no telling, like, for one, you don't know who fixed the car.
Mm-hmm.
And two, there's no telling what they missed or, what kind of internal damage could be happening. Right. Just like the M8 had been in an accident. You didn't know it.
That's funny. They tried to convince me that my M8 had been in an accident because the chassis color was different than the body color or something stupid.
For a brief instant, he was freaked.
This was after a long night of stuff that was not going well for me anyway. So I was like, really, dude? Freaking, I'm going to sleep. So yeah, like, do your research and know the different types of salvage titles. There's salvage, there's rebuilt, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of these are like fender benders.
Yeah.
Like they had to replace one door panel.
Yeah. So like higher end cars, like if you mess up a front bumper, it could be a salvage title and all it was the bumper cover.
Yeah.
And
it was like a paint chip or something stupid.
Yeah, it's just something ridiculous because insurance, that person may have had shitty insurance and they didn't want to cover it and like, oh, we're just totaling it, whatever. But
exactly.
Stuff like that. You got to take that kind of stuff into account when you look at that kind of thing.
Yep.
I've never bought a salvage title car, but I'm not against it either.
Right.
I
ran into a problem selling my Mustang because it was damage reported, and it was literally just like the backlight was like a little shaky. I don't know what happened to it.
What?
But when I went to sell it, it was like 3 owners, including myself, because it's a higher end car. They're usually going to be, and it was relatively low mileage. It was like 4,000 miles on that thing, and they were like, "Yeah, there's 4,000 miles on it, 3 owners, and there's damage reported. We're never going to sell this thing." It's like, okay, it's a $98,000 car. Like, it's going to be swapped around by people, and it's going to have low mileage. That's just kind of how that works. So know that even if it's a good deal because it's a rebuilt title or whatever, it's just a fender, the title is hurt. And when you go to resell it, that title will still be salvaged regardless of what you think it is.
Yep.
And that's why the price is lower regardless, because people don't want a salvage title because it's harder to resell. Yep. They do not hold their value very well.
It scares people, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
For good reason. I mean, you could end up like Tavares with the P1 that he bought that was in the Hurricane.
This dude bought a P1 that was in a Hurricane and was just going to rebuild it from nothing because it was like completely rebuilt.
Yeah.
That's not going well for him, right?
Well, he's ended up taking out the hybrid drivetrain and all kinds of stuff, but
And not to mention when you have that P1, those parts are
I can't imagine.
So much more. I mean, if you have a $1.2 million car.
Yeah, my friend Doug bought a Turbo S Porsche as a new one and slid off the road for some reason. I can't remember what happened, but it punctured the tub. and that basically was the end of that car.
Wow.
So I mean, there's just these little things. I'm sure it can be fixed, but like I don't know if the tub is made out of something special or anything. But he didn't want to fool with it, and he just was in that position. He could just go buy another one.
Yeah.
So.
That's another thing too. If you got a P1, you're probably fine.
Oh, you ain't worried
Just
about
go
it. Hell,
buy
they
another
left it out in the outside in the hurricane. They didn't care.
Yeah. If you don't have a garage to keep a P1 in, don't buy a P1 either.
Yeah, but if I won the lottery, I'd probably had a P1.
Still have my gravel driveway. And
right, yeah. I'd be driving around the shop over here.
Yeah, right. But no, yeah, I mean, pricings of cars are very different. But don't think that you have to have $20,000, $30,000 to get into the car world. You do not.
No. Build your car for you. Don't worry about the other people, too.
Absolutely. If you're happy with your car, nothing else should matter. I mean, like.
At the same time, when we say that, on the flip side of that, we still don't respect all bills.
Sure, there are things that are like universally bad to do. Yeah. However, if you like it, I can't really knock you. Like, do whatever you want to your car. It's not our car. Do whatever you want. However,
it still looks like trash when you squat a truck.
Right. Yeah.
Or you're a real stancy boy.
Yeah. Don't stance your builds. Say no to stance builds and neochrome. For sure.
Shirt idea.
True. XJDC.
Yo.
So yeah, I mean you can start. I don't have any cars that I can name off the top of my head that are that cheap, but I mean FRSs you can get.
No, you can get them crazy cheap.
Yeah.
I mean depending. Sure. Cheap is relative.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely true on that as well.
You're a multimillionaire, so cheap to you is a whole lot different than what it is.
I wish I was a multimillionaire. I did not.
I wish you were too.
Did not make nearly as much money as everybody thinks I did. If I did, I wouldn't have a Supra. I just have really bad priorities. So everybody thinks I have money because I have a really cool car.
It's his steep gambling debt.
Yeah, exactly right. Been in the casino like twice in my life. I turned 21 like 2 months ago though. So whatever.
Ah, Jesus.
I'm
so old.
So yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you do whatever you want, and don't be afraid to join the car community because people are rude, but that's nothing. That's no reason to not join a hobby or
yeah, because you never know how somebody's gonna react. You know, like when I first got my car and was riding around coming to these shows and stuff, like it was hardly anybody would talk to me, but then they would message me like, "Hey, I saw you. Why didn't you say something?"
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I have the RBF. I feel like I'm a pretty like outlaw.
RBF. Oh, got it.
Yeah,
resting beep face.
That one.
I don't think that you do. No.
No, you don't think so?
No.
No, he thinks I'm pretty.
Nope, never said that. Just don't look really mean.
You have said that.
I have, but I didn't just say that.
You said I look like John the other day.
True. Nice vascular forearms and calves.
No, I don't have that, but
no, definitely not. I don't either.
John was coming in the shop, and our buddy Ethan looks out. Y'all don't even know John. But
oh, true. He's not. He will be in the video soon.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he was coming into the shop. It was that day, and Ethan's like, "There's some tall Australian-looking model coming."
Just our good friend John.
Yeah, it's just John, man.
Absolutely, definitely. Like there are bad apples in everything.
Yep.
Whether it's pickleball, or it's chess, or it's
I don't know how to play chess.
Roblox, Dress to Impress. Big topic right now. Sorry.
Is it?
Or it's cars. There are bad apples in everything.
Yep.
And so, like, don't be afraid to join the hobby just because there are a-holes in everything.
So, apparently, speaking of bad apples in the car community, there was, at Cars and Coffee the other day, which we're lucky with our Cars and Coffee here because we get to have it at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Very cool.
It's pretty neat. But apparently, there was some guys doing donuts and stuff out there. Just
really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I hate when people do that. That's one thing I can't stand is, like, these takeovers and all this crap that people do.
Yep.
Like, when Jeremy and I finally... figure out what we're doing show-wise. If you guys are coming out there doing that kind of stuff, just please don't come. Go somewhere else and do that kind of stuff.
Set up your own show and ruin your own reputation.
Yes.
Don't ruin everybody else's reputation just because you want to have some stupid kind of fun.
We are not against, like, having it somewhere where we can do that kind of stuff. Like, that's kind of the goal. Like, we would love to do that kind of stuff, but
do it in the right. There's a time and place.
Environment where just come on, man. You got to respect the properties that are allowing us to do these things and.
Revving to a certain extent is fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't love when people like get angry at kids because they're revving their cars. Like that's a huge, like if not like a third of the aspect of someone's car is their sound. People work so hard to tune the car their sound.
Yep.
But yeah, like burnouts are not. Most cars over 400 horsepower and rear wheel drive can do a burnout. So like you're not like impressing anybody.
Yeah, unless you're Joel.
True, but that's different.
God, that was awesome.
But Joel is no exception. Joel don't do burnouts either in the middle of car
Joel's
shows.
a respectful person.
True. The only thing I do love about car shows is like leaving intensely.
Oh yeah, so now I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And
Yeah.
it seems like when we leave Harper's or even when we leave the Cars and Coffee here, it doesn't seem like even the cops mind. Like as long as you're not doing crazy stuff, like just
They mind if you get to 1:30 while doing it,
right.
Like,
and I would never.
Yeah.
But when you do a quick little pool, because there's so many kids out there that are like filming it and stuff like that. That's awesome. Seeing
it doesn't matter what car you have. You could have some kid's dream car.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's cool to like show them what they're wanting.
You could be driving someone's dream car, so act accordingly.
Yep, 100%. Don't ruin a car for somebody, because there's a lot of cars that I used to love that I've met owners of, and I'm like, maybe I just don't like that brand or car anymore.
That's what got my dad not liking Ford.
Really?
Yep.
Just people?
He went to a dealership, and he was looking at a Mustang.
That's not fair, man.
And they just ignored him, and it rubbed him the wrong way. And now, 84 years later, my dad is still it's not 84, but
hates them.
Yeah, he's just not a Mustang guy. And
dealerships are a whole other problem.
There's good and bad.
I don't like Carvana. I don't like the CarMax type thing. What I do like about it is that there's no salesman, and so in turn they're mostly nice, because it's not like there's not like this super competitive or like they have to work on their commission the whole time, and it's like
They should get paid by the hour and stuff like that.
Yeah, pay them well. That's cool.
Yeah,
but like
absolutely.
don't make it.
Give them bonuses, but
I don't mind commission either. But when they take it so far, and you're like, this is your second biggest investment in your life besides your house, and so like, this is people's livelihood, and you're trying to like upsell them on a warranty that's never gonna matter.
God, don't ever buy a warranty when you buy a new car.
Definitely not.
There's extended warranty companies out there that work.
If you were to buy like a McLaren, I strongly suggest you go with like
Haggerty.
Yep.
Haggerty is your friend. But I've had a couple aftermarket warranties. One of them replaced the motor for me.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
It cost me $100.
Dang.
Yep.
Very nice. Josh was a big example of that as well.
Yep. I believe in some of those, like, for people that really, if something hits you and you can't afford it, man, you're lucky when you have that. And a lot of them aren't that expensive either.
No, definitely not.
I tried calling on the GTR one day and like, nope.
That's fair. But Josh, he has a GT3.
Yep.
And his motor blew like
2
or 3 weeks after he got the car.
Yep.
And luckily he bought an extended warranty with a third-party company, not with the dealership he bought it from or the person he bought it from.
Well, his was a recall.
Was it a recall?
Yeah, so there was a recall on the motors and those things. I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
But there was a known issue with those, so it had become a recall.
Oh, okay.
And he was lucky enough that his fell under the recall. Had it not, he would have had the extended warranty to be covered with. And
so if the recall wasn't there, he still would have been covered by his warranty.
That's one thing I can say about Josh is he is kind of smart on some things. Most things, no.
That's fair. Maybe we'll have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, warranties are not a problem if they're from like a third-party company. That's never a problem. But if they're sitting you down and they're like, "Hey, do you want gets rid of your stains for 4 years straight for $6,000?"
Yeah,
brother, no, like absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, it's dealerships are a thing that scare people away from car dealerships a lot.
Yep.
And I completely get why. And I hate going to dealerships. And like I said, I hate Carvana and CarMax. You don't have to deal with the salesman. I totally get it. It's cool, and I get why people like it.
Yeah.
You're not getting the best price there. And still, with a company like that, when they have so much like inventory, they can lose on a lot of deals. And so you are getting good prices, and they do have good like trade-in values. However, I got some problems with Carvana and CarMax, stuff like that.
I like buying from someone.
That's true too.
I bought my car directly from the owner, and
yeah, private sales are really good if you're careful about it. There's definitely a way to navigate that world.
Yep.
The Supra was a private sale, and I'm very happy with it.
Yep.
If you want to buy a modified car, probably a good thing to go to.
There used to be it was almost like Auto Trader just for modified cars back in the day.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know
remember what it was called. That was really neat.
There's a awesome dealership in Texas called RPM Garage.
Yeah.
I'd love to open something like that one day, but most of their cars are completely modified. They've given me some pretty sucky trade-in values, unfortunately, so I've never been able to make a deal with them.
Yep.
They offered me $52,000 on my M8. I bought that car for $94,000.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Just numbers. I get it. Whatever. But I got a better deal somewhere else. But I would love to do like a modified car dealership. I think that's really cool.
That would be fun.
And there are some mods that don't hurt the value of your car. I think we'll talk about that in the next episode.
That's a good thing to talk about.
Knowing what is going to hurt the value of the car and knowing what's not. And knowing to keep your OEM parts to revert your car back to stock before you sell it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for sure. I think that's it, man.
Yeah, I think we're kind of running out of time tonight.
Could have talked all night.
I don't think we've touched on everything that we were going to even talk about tonight. No.
Love when that happens.
So yeah, we didn't talk about. Well, we touched on pretty much everything. The only thing we didn't touch on was different types of cars, as far as people that have. There's people that hate electric cars.
Mm-hmm.
It's not warranted. And then hybrid cars is the future, and people don't agree with that.
Yep.
And then people just want their internal combustion.
Absolutely,
which is fine
which I
too.
get.
Yeah.
I totally get, and I'm on board with that.
Prefer it right now. But hybrid is literally the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more the future than electric cars should be. But we'll get into that. I'm starting to rant. So
that'll be next episode, though.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got stuff to talk about for sure.
Yeah, we'll get in on that. We'll get in on whatever it was he just said. I don't listen to him.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we got a lot of content coming out. Check out our latest video where JDC decked out my Supra. And then part 2 of that, which we're finishing up now, will be JDC decking out Match GTR.
Which he's been decking out for a while.
Yes, he has, yeah.
That's kind of the sad thing. I'm running out of stuff.
I know, right? There's only so much titanium you can put in your car,
That's true.
So start now.
It makes such a difference. I can't wait for you guys to see the intake manifold.
Yep, we're powder coating your intake manifold.
Powder coated that. Jeremy's wheels look amazing.
We got a lot to talk about with that too.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to talk about. That's too far out. But we'll talk about that later.
I can't wait for them to see that video.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
That'll be a fun video. I can't wait to make more stuff like that.
That was so cool. Yeah.
Hoping to do some car tours and stuff like that of people's car collections like Tom.
Ashley reached out to one. So, yeah, we're going to go see my buddy Tom. We're going to go see his cars. So, if you guys know anybody that has, a collection.
Or if you are a person with a cool car collection.
Absolutely. Or even just a rare car.
Yep.
Hit us up, man. Let's take a look at this thing. Let's talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Thank you for tuning in.
Love you.
Like I said last time, I hope that the audio-only listeners are taken care of here. I hope that
download
not being too visual. Yeah, definitely set up your Spotify on auto download for us.
Download us.
It supports us and keeps us up running and being able to make these videos for sure.
Oh, look, they're coming in. Yep, we got to go, guys. All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Check out the latest HalfTorqued video, and there will be another one out on Monday.
Buy merch.
And go to HalfTorqued.com to buy some merch. And go to JD Customs USA to buy some titanium.
Using code HalfTorqued.
Yep.
See you guys.
Have a good one.